time to navigate your wealth. Of course, this is brought to you by Compass Financial and the power team behind it, Karen Stawicki and Samantha Irish. Great to see you.
Thank you so much.
People always say, I can't believe they're mother and daughter. Like, I can't believe you work so beautifully together. You grew up listening to your parents talk about finances. You followed in both of their footsteps. Let's talk about your philosophy, because we've been together doing this over 3 months now, which is great. How is your philosophy so very different from the big box cookie cutter that you originally came from?
Well, I thank you for that. You know, everybody should start at the same place that we start, and that is to have a conversation. That when someone calls that number and we meet with them, that we're going to ask them so many questions, obviously answer any questions they have about us, but we want to find out, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? What are your desires? Because they are important, because they're yours. But they're also yours because you're an individual. And so that's one thing that's very important when we talk with people, is to really help them to understand that no two people, no two families, no two anyone are the same.
You're special.
Everybody's different.
You know, some of the questions that we ask is, you know, what are your goals for your money? But also, we want to understand your philosophy. Like, how do you believe that money should be saved and spent? What has motivated you to make the decisions that you've made? Because most people aren't just winging it when it comes to finances, right? They're trying to read, they're trying to ask their neighbor, they're learning wherever they can.
But that can be dangerous.
And it can be. But they also have some family history, right? If you come from a family, and my son-in-law comes from that family, where they were good savers. I mean, at a young age, they encouraged him to save, 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 save. So he has that ingrained in his nature. You have people that come from different families who just we're winging it, right? They said, oh, and you know, the one thing I just get so sad when I hear is that, oh, I don't need to have a retirement account because I'm never going to retire. I love my job, or I'm never going to, you know, what? But here's the thing.
You don't know the future.
It may not be your option. Like, some companies may find a newer, younger model and put you out to pasture, or your health may change the course of action. So, you know, you've got to have a plan. So the first thing we want to do is have that conversation and find out what's really important to you.
Now, you said how Jared is so good at, he was brought up learning to save, but now with what we're seeing today, that saved money can't buy as much as it did before, right? Because of this terrible perfect storm we're having right now with inflation.
Absolutely. Well, and that is why what we have created, which is the Power of Three model, helps to provide a solution to that. And we're going to get to that Power of Three model in just a moment. I want to continue with what, you know, people should expect when they sit down and what our philosophy is. So now we've asked all the questions. What are your hopes, dreams, and desires? The next thing that we're going to do is create their own personalized GPS. And if you've been watching this show for any bit of time, you know that that stands for growth, protection, and savings. And it is our also proprietary one-page model that puts all of your assets on a single sheet of paper. No more 67-page financial plan that you're not going to read anyway and is out of date the minute you walk out of the person's office that gave it to you. The GPS will show you exactly where you are, and it helps us determine what the next steps might need to be to get you so that your dreams, hopes, and desires become a reality.
You know, the one thing about the GPS that I really love, and we've had clients say to us, it's so important, is because it's, for the first time for a lot of individuals, a snapshot of what they actually have.
Everything.
I mean, if you have worked at multiple different companies, you may have old 401ks or old IRAs. You know, in a previous episode, we talked about a gentleman who forgot that he had an IRA, and there was consequences to kind of forgetting that. It needs to be somewhere that you know exactly what you have. So sometimes on the front end, it takes a little work, and we want you to put in a little effort so that we can make sure that we get that snapshot. But once it's done, think about how much better you will feel, because you'll never have to again worry, oh, is there something that I forgot about, that I didn't know about? because it forever lives on your model.
And it shows you these little gaps. Like you talked before, okay, you're doing great here, but look at these 4 years between this age and this age, and then that's where you can kind of with cement kind of fill in those gaps.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So that's obviously important. And, you know, everyone that calls this number on the screen, 855-348-3073, is not only going to have all of these questions and conversation, but you need to understand that we are going to build out a retirement roadmap for you. Whether you choose to become a client with us or not, you need to understand we are making this offer sincerely to each and every one of you. That retirement roadmap will include a tax burden analysis. You need to know exactly what you're going to pay, not just today, not just tomorrow, but over your lifetime. You're also going to get an income analysis. Do you have guaranteed income covering your guaranteed expenses? And we're going to talk more about that. We're also going to give you a legacy plan and give you the option to participate in a legacy strategy that we have partnered with, because having a plan in writing and taken care of, so there's no guesswork when you're gone, is taken care of. It's that important. So call that number, or there's a QR code on the screen. I learned this from my daughter. I did not know this myself, so let me help you here. You go to the camera mode on your camera, on your phone, which is a camera, whatever.
Amazing, isn't it?
And then you put it to the QR code on the screen, and all of a sudden magic happens. That QR code will pop open to our website, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to get even more information. So call that number, and we are delighted to be able to give you all of this information.
Yes, and it really is no cost, no obligation at all. Start the conversation and just have your calendar ready, because we want to make sure we reserve you a spot. We want everyone who's watching to be able to get that spot. Stay with us more on how to navigate your wealth well into retirement. Stay with us.